All right, we're live.
Hooray!
Yay, we made it. Boy, Sean isn't here, so I had to throw together a show kind of last minute. I've been busy this
It's
week.
it's gonna be one of those episodes, folks.
It is. Sean seems like he's having a good time over in
I
Germany.
would hope so.
Have you seen his pictures or whatever? Take
I've only seen like a couple, but it seemed like he's having a pretty good time.
Yeah. I am excited to hear about his travels because those always seem to be weird sometimes. There
He
always seems to
always
be
has
something.
some like this makes no sense that this happened story. I
Yeah.
would say I'm jealous, but I've had enough of those over the years. I'm like, you know what? You have them now. I'm good.
I think a lot of it comes from he stays at hostels and stuff, so like he's around people and weird situations all the time. If I
Yeah,
go somewhere, I want a hotel room and I don't want to deal with people. Like I'm there for a reason. I don't like traveling, so.
he is definitely the most social butterfly out of the three of us.
Oh,
So.
for sure. Yeah. For sure. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how he does or what he's doing or whatever. But he is at Gamescom right now. Well, was at Gamescom. It's over now, right?
Is
I
it? I don't know.
I
I
actually
thought that there was one last day.
I can be honest. I know nothing about Gamescom because it's always been this weird thing of like before the holiday season and after E3 that it's just like we exist too and we have
Uh,
stuff.
Google says 21st to 25th. So he's had maybe 2 days total.
Wow. All right. Well, fair enough. I mean, I guess that makes sense because opening night live was like 2 days ago or whatever, a day ago.
Oh, that actually, I didn't even realize that happened. Oops.
Oh yeah, we'll talk all about it because it was resounding meh. I think in a lot of ways. Well, if you wanted like new stuff, you probably weren't gonna get it here, which makes sense because
Hmm.
fucking E3 was like a month and a half ago. Like that's still yeah. I don't know. I've never really understood Gamescom, but there's lots of gaming events now, and it's one of them.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just because it's Europe,
Sure.
Europe and Asia. It's like one of the easier to access ones for everyone. And usually it's pretty open for people. It's like when
Yeah.
E3 went public. It's that. It's always been public from what I heard.
Yeah. It's like their version of it over there. And then what's Tokyo Game Show is next, right? After that.
Yeah, and that should be late September, mid September. I forget
Is it something
which.
like that? Early October, late September, somewhere in there?
Somewhere in that time frame. It's like early fall around that.
Yeah, yeah. That's always a little fun because they do this like indie showcase that's like 5 hours long. That's just everything. And it's way too much, but I kind of like that about it too. There's no
Well,
way
that's
in
when like
hell I'd
Inti
watch it.
Create shows off their stuff and everything. So
Yeah,
that
exactly.
usually gets me excited. All that stuff.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Um, let's just jump right into the episode because I don't really have any preamble to talk about. I've just been working. There's
Yeah,
nothing
that's fair.
special. This
Like I
is
said, one of those episodes.
it's one of those episodes, yeah. One of those episodes of the top-down perspective. In fact, it is episode 726. If you wanted to mark that off on your calendars, the August 22nd edition, and I am Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
John, what have you been playing?
So for game clearing, we've been doing Ease the Oath and Felghana.
Yeah.
So been having a good time playing that, but I decided like, oh hey, I haven't played the original Ease 3 in a long time because that was the first game in the series I played and I really loved it.
Sure.
So I loaded up the TurboGrafx CD version of the game.
Okay.
And that has very terrible voice acting, but also was still that game. So I played through that in full, and when I finished that, I decided, hey, I'm gonna go back and play through Ease Book 1 and 2 again, but I'm gonna play the TurboGrafx version instead of the DS one, which is the one I played through.
Okay.
So I've
Yeah.
just been on this weird Ease kick at the moment. So
How long are those games? I thought they were quite long.
it's the later games in the series are. The early ones are
Oh,
fairly short. Like Felghana's maybe 12 hours, and that is an extended version of Ease 3. Ease 3 itself, I think I beat in 4 hours.
oh wow, quite short then
Yeah.
actually.
Ease 3 is basically just Zelda 2, but more anime.
Okay, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. No, I had a great time playing it. It was nice to go back to that and feel nostalgic because that was a game that one of my friends had as a kid, and a bunch of us could never figure out how to beat it, and I was the first one who did. So like I have like this nostalgia and like had good feelings about it. So I just kind of been really enjoying the good vibes.
It's
And Ease Book 1 and 2 is just it's a frustrating experience, but it's still cool.
it's kind of interesting that he's never took off in the way that a lot of other games did, because it had a lot of those things that I think would have made it very popular if more people had played it.
Ease didn't get enough releases over here.
Hmm.
We got book 1 and 2 on the TurboGrafx CD, so already like a real minimum entry point.
Yeah.
East 3 is the only one we really got because we got it on SNES, which is the version I played, Genesis, TurboGrafx CD, and I think we got a fourth one I can't think of right now, but I know we got those three at the very least. And then we didn't get anything till the PS2. And that's when we
Right.
got Ease the Ark of Nabishtim, and that got a PSP release. And then I think it was Xseed started releasing like some of the older ones and newer ones on the PSP. So like Ease 7's on the PSP. That was its starting platform. I think it might be its only platform.
Mm-hmm.
1 and 2 got a remake on there, as well as on PC and DS. Oath and Felghana got a re-release on there, on top of like getting a PC version. And then another company took over, and now they're doing 8, 9, and 10. Like 10 comes out soon-ish.
Yeah. I think 8 was like the most recent one that really took off, if I remember right. That,
8, I got to play 8 on stream a while ago, and
yeah.
that actually was really fun.
Yeah, I think that's the one that got a lot of people really, really hyped in modern, we'll call it modern day, because I think that was still like 10 years ago, something like that. It was a
I don't know if
while
it's
ago.
that far, because I have it on Switch, so I don't think it was that far
Oh,
back.
oh, so it was probably like 2017 then.
Let's see here. Lacrimosa of Dana, 2016. July 21st,
Okay,
2016. Oh, yeah, because it started on the Vita.
interesting. Okay, okay, so about 7, 8 years old. Yeah, that sounds
Never
about
mind,
right.
it's older than I thought then. Never mind.
It's crazy. I thought it was older even, but yeah, damn.
Yeah, we got it over here September 12th, 2017 on PS4 and Vita, and then we got it on Switch not even a year later.
Cool. Those games are quite long, right? Like the later ones, as you were saying.
If memory serves, like they basically go from like being like 15 and lower hour games to like 60.
Yeah, like the Final Fantasy type power creep, we'll call it, length creep, whatever you want to call it, that sort
Yeah,
of
let me see
idea.
here. I'm pulling it up as best I can. Oath and Felghana is 11 hours for main story.
Mm,
Ark of Nabishim is 12 and a half. Memories of Calcutta is 21 and a half, which is a remake of 4 that we did get over here. Ease 1 is 6 hours.
yeah,
Uh, but I'm not
none of
seeing.
those are too
Let
bad.
me see here. I hate that I had to type in the exact words for this otherwise. Ease 8, main story 37, main an extra 50. So
That's not
significant
bad.
jump at that point.
Big jump, but that's still not as bad as I was thinking. They never hit Persona numbers, huh?
No, Ease 7 was 22. I'm trying to remember what Ease 9 was called.
I guess few games reach Persona numbers though, to be fair.
Yeah, Monstrum Nox just disappeared from some reason off my screen, but I think it said, yeah, 27 and a half hours to 40 for main and extra.
That was
And
only like
obviously
a
10's
year or
not
two
yet.
ago, wasn't it? Maybe 2 or 3 rather. Wasn't that 2020-ish? Maybe a little after?
Japanese release September 26, 2019. North America
Wow.
February 2nd, 2021.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. 2021-ish. I heard great things about that one too. Also,
I've heard better things about 8 over 9, but yeah.
hmm, cool. Are you gonna visit all of them? Are you gonna try to get into them?
Maybe it's funny that I've only been playing the ones I've already beaten, except for Oath and Felghana, technically.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Felghana is a whole different beast. My God, that is way harder.
Mm.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do maybe Ease Origin next, which is
Okay.
like that's like the only game in the series that doesn't have 8 all in it. Because all
Gotcha.
the other ones all revolve around the same character. So yeah, Origin, but apparently is also like really good. If you like Felghana, they say you'll really like Origin, but it's also very difficult. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Cool.
But that's just the whole series. The whole series is challenging. Frickin'
Yeah.
Ease 1 and 2 is bump combat, so you don't swing your sword. You walk into people to hurt them.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so you walk into people, you try to like be just a little bit off center so they don't also get to hit you too, and then like they do like damage calculations based on what your attack and defense are and who takes what amount of damage. And then you just got to be careful you don't like rush too hard into an enemy and just get murdered. It's I prefer actually swinging the swords like they do in 3 onwards, but like yeah, bump combat's weird to get used to.
Yeah. And you don't like it is like Final Fantasy in that they don't all have like a direct story that you need to follow, right? They all have like a different like they're in the same universe with different stories they're doing.
All the games are except for book 1 and 2. Those are direct like literally
Yeah.
book 1 and 2 is basically one game together.
Sure.
All the games are separate like contained stories.
Right.
You may have some recurring characters like Dogi, and Adol is the main character of all of them except for Origins. But yeah, you don't have to play any of the other ones to play a specific one. It's just like you might miss some references at most.
Sure.
But yeah, but it's not like Final Fantasy because literally it's the same iteration of Adol. It's not a Zelda situation where like it's a different incarnation. It's literally it's the same dude.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it follows like 10 years of his life or something like that. Like each game is like I think the time range of his games is like 16 to 24 or something like that. He's gone on all these ridiculous adventures.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's been a fun series.
So there is a game here that you played that I wanted to ask you about, and it is Kitsune Tales. You tried that out. What did you think? Be completely honest.
I mean, it's Mario 3. It is Mario 3.
Yeah, it really is.
The one I didn't get too far. I didn't even finish the first map, but like I found that hidden power up where you get put on the samurai armor and you can like jab the spear into walls and like wall climbing with it. I'm like, okay, that's cool as heck.
It's pretty cool. Yep. Do they give you a taste of? Oh, they probably don't. So that first character, I don't remember her name now, unfortunately.
I don't either, unfortunately.
That's her whole shtick, right? Is she gets different like costumes that kind of have a gimmick for the levels. If you ever go back, I would love to hear your opinion on the second character, which is unfortunately after playing through the game once.
Yeah, I heard the second character. I think you told me he's plays like the messenger. Other people told me he plays like Zero from Mega Man X.
Yes.
So I'm just like, that sounds fun. I would like to try it out.
Yeah, I was told that there's like a cheat menu in the game, like in the options or extras, where you could just like play that right away. So it might be worth checking out. But yeah, I had some problems with that game with that first character. I thought it was okay, but like you said, it is very Mario 3, and Mario 3 is an old game. So it has some of those hang-ups. But overall, I thought that game was cool. I think it would be worth checking out more of at some point, but you have to be in the mood for a platformer at the time.
Yeah, I'm too busy apparently playing through games I've already beaten. So
hell yeah. Well, I'll take it from there because I have also been playing games that I've already played a little bit of. The big thing for me this week is that a few weeks ago I ordered a leverless arcade pad or whatever. A hitbox. Yeah. I'm trying not to. I always say a hitbox.
Oh, it's not. Is it actually not the branded?
It's not the brand hitbox. That's why I'm trying to stay away from it.
No, that's fair because I forgot that Hitbox was a brand, and also I think they burned their brand like a little bit. Like I think they could try to copyright it or some shit. Something weird happened. I remember there being a big kerfuffle like a year or two ago.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it was like the first one to market, so that's why everybody calls all of the button-only fight sticks essentially hitboxes. Anyways, I bought one because I want to play a bunch of fighting games, and I was like, it's time. I've been wanting one of these for a while. And so what I ended up doing was playing stuff like Mario Land 1 and Resident Evil, and just like a bunch of other games with it to kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
And it is still so weird, but I'll tell you, playing a bunch of games that you know already and like training your brain to use your thumb for up helps. Like training your brain on stuff that's familiar helps a lot. So that's kind of what I've been doing. The big one, and I have a problem, and it's Spider-Man on the SNES. So I've been playing a bunch of that again.
What is wrong with you?
I mean, I'm so intimately familiar with how that game plays, so So I can play through that now on the hitbox pretty easily. Not too bad. Mario Land 1, yo, that game's like actually really difficult in a way I didn't remember because it's
Oh
just
no, Mario Land
unforgiving.
1 is unapologetic about
Yeah,
how difficult it actually can be at times.
it's crazy because I think it's because like so many things one shot you because it's so hard to find power ups in the stages. They're few and far between. So if you miss,
They're hidden in weird spots. Like there's points where they're just like,
yeah.
yeah, if you jump here, you get like an elevator that puts you on the ceiling, and that's where all the power-ups are. But if you don't know, good luck.
So I don't know, and it's been a problem. And then it became a problem in the last stage. Is I guess for anybody who is too young or whatever to even know what the Mario Land is, or maybe doesn't remember. The last stage is like a shmup stage almost. You're flying through the air, and then around the end, before you get to the boss, you're going through like this weird little maze of going up and down, which when you're using a controller is no problem, but when you're training your fingers on a hitbox is a big fucking problem, and that side scroller does not stop for nothing, and it's so bad. It's so stressful. It's so bad. And it made me think, when was the last time that like you had to actually think about what you were doing control wise on the controller without it just being inherent? Because like we've been playing with like D-pads, WASD, whatever forever, so it's second nature. But this, I'm actually having to think about where my fingers are, and I don't remember the last time I've had to do that.
For me, it's when I've tried to play other games with like DDR pads or stuff like that.
Sure, same idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had this I'm sad it broke because it was awesome. Basically like it had a DDR pad that was the actual like physical movement for the D-pad, but it also had sensors on like a bunch of crossbars in front of you, and you swung your hand in front of them that broke lasers that was shooting from them, and that's what did the face button inputs.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
so
what?
I had this for PS1. It was a PS1 controller, but I think it worked on PS2 as well. So
Yeah,
I was like trying to play like Dead or Alive 2
yeah.
while like swinging my hands to do the inputs and like dancing around with my feet. One of the I forget which button it was that was specifically broken. I think it was down on the D-pad. Did not work, so
Right.
unfortunately had to throw it out. But like it was the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's it's really fun playing games that with dumb controllers or stupid ways to do it. It's very very fun.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like I guess the thing is, the meme is like I have to play Dark Souls or Elden, like one of those games, right? With this, because that's kind of what people do, is that they play Souls games with controllers that are like bananas or something.
Or cursed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess at some point I'll try that, but I wish I had bought one of these sooner. I really, really like it quite a bit. It's just such a weird, interesting way to play through a game, and yeah, it's cool. That thing's neat.
Did you actually play fighting games with it? Because you listed a lot of not fighting games.
I just spent a lot of time in a Tekken like practice mode trying to get used to like how to combo with it. My problem with that is that there is such little input delay when I push a button on that thing and it happens, that I am doing too many inputs, so I had to actually
Oh
turn
no.
input delay on in the game so
Oh,
that it
it's
wasn't.
too good. It's too powerful.
Yeah, there's not enough latency for some of the things. So when I turned it down about 2 notches in game, it started feeling more correct. But I got to get used to like I holding down 2 buttons at the same time for like a diagonal, and then pairing that with like doing back diagonal, back down, diagonal forward, and then forward, like a roll basically.
Like a half circle. Doing a half circle.
Doing a half circle is super easy on everything, but
Yeah.
on this it's moving your fingers in an exact way. And it's so that part's weird, but then every other input is so much easier, because I have a lot of problems with joysticks, specifically like analog sticks, on getting clean up, down, left, and right inputs without a diagonal. So for some games where like that could be your death, the big one is I'm gonna start doing some Kaizo shit with it, where like
Oh no.
if you do a diagonal in some spots, you're fucked. Like, because I have that problem all the time with every controller. So I'm gonna try that stuff out. But that, yeah, I've been basically playing every game but fighting games, because I want to find what fighting game I want to play. It's probably going to be Guilty Gear, to be honest, because I've really been wanting to get into Strive
Good choice.
specifically.
Good choice. Guilty Gear is always fun.
And then, I mean, as you know, if I'm gonna play that game, I'm gonna sit down and play that game and learn one character for like an hour or two, and then maybe another. Like, it's gonna be a thing that I'm gonna have to put a podcast on and just fucking tap keys for like a few hours. That's just gonna.
Tell me
be
if I'm assuming you mean Strive, so tell me
Strive.
if you want to play. Yeah.
Well, I have to buy it still, but because I don't have it.
Okay, well that's an important step too. Yeah, you might need to do that.
The reason I did Tekken is because I have it, Tekken 7.
Okay.
And I still have to play through that story mode, which I heard is bananas, so I'm excited to do that. The second thing is Dragon Ball Project Multi beta started up this week.
What is that?
This is Pokemon Unite, but for Dragon Ball. It is a basic-ass MOBA.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so
is this official? Like, is this
it
an
is
actual...
official, Bandai Namco, and you can tell too because those motherfuckers do not know how to put out a multiplayer game without it crashing all the time. So it's been horrid trying to play with friends, but in the few times I have got games, I can say it is way more basic than Pokemon Unite, if you can believe that even.
How?
Every character has 4 buttons and an ulti. And the 4 buttons are like a normal attack, usually a skill shot type ranged attack, an ability that will power you up in some way so that you can move faster and like either escape or chase down opponents, and then like an AoE attack of certain. That's kind of the 4 that have been. There's like different characters do different things. Like Majin Buu's things is like, I think his ult is he turns the opponent into candy, eats them, and then like heals everybody in the area or something. He's a healer, a support, which is weird to me, but
it sort of makes sense because like it's not like it's the Buu without the murderous intent.
Right, exactly. And they do delineate the difference where it says Buu good in like parentheses beside it, which lets me believe that eventually there's going to be evil or bad or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
I've been just playing a lot of Goku because I've been just saying I want a game. I don't care about what role I play, and it has been forcing me into a damage like dealer, and that is Goku and Piccolo currently. So I've been playing both of them.
Sense.
Yeah.
Do they have Vegeta in there? Like, do they have like all the
Yep.
ones you'd expect?
Yep. They have all the basic ones. The problem is that they are locked off. Like, they released this beta as if the game was like in early access or whatever. So there is an in-game currency that you earn by doing daily challenges or whatever, and you can use that currency to unlock characters, and there are ones on rotation currently. But the one that is always open, I think, is Goku, and I can't remember who else. There's like 2 that are always open. They give you enough to buy 1 character. I bought Buu because I just wanted to check him out. And the other, like Piccolo and them, are all on rotation right now. But I think it's a cast of like 6 or 7 right now. There's not very many in there.
Which is pretty low, yeah.
Pretty low.
Like, yeah. Gohan, Piccolo, etc. Like the ones you'd expect.
Yeah. I mean, and the games are pretty low. They're 4v4, 2 lanes. So the idea is 2 would go top, 2 would go bottom. And it's almost more of a tug of war than it is like a standard MOBA in a lot of ways. There are consistently gods of destruction. Like, the towers are gods of destruction, and they are being attacked by the opponent's gods of destructions. If I remember correctly, I only played like 2 games because I was
okay. So it sounds like they're doing like here's like the tournament of power kind of idea.
Exactly, and they're constantly like on timers pushing one way and then the other way, and the idea is you're supposed to push with them and try to do as much damage as you can while the other team defends, and then it switches. And it does the MOBA thing of like big bads or whatever will appear in certain areas and you fight them for power-ups or whatever. I think in the middle is literally a just like a giant ape, like a Saiyan that's rampaging and that you fight for control of.
That's kind of neat. That sounds cool.
The thing is really cool and fun because I like MOBAs personally, and this is like one of those 10-minute MOBAs because it's obviously a mobile game and it's made for mobile. The problem I have is that the first night I tried for 2 hours of just getting into a game and I couldn't, even though a couple of my friends were in games and then they were talking about it. And I was so upset the whole time because I was trying to get into one. And then we tried like queuing up multiple times. We can't even see each other on the friends list half of the time. Like their servers are screwed. They're so bad. But when this thing is up
yeah,
and
you're right.
running,
This is the exact same thing that happened with Breakers. Breakers had this
Yeah.
exact same problem.
they don't know how to do this shit. And it's funny because I was saying to them how, remember how like everybody hated Marvel Rivals for being like, hey, you get like a key drop or whatever, or a chance to get a key drop if you watch like Twitch streams, and then like
Yeah.
they would run out in the first minute because they were limited keys that they would give out. Well, as somebody who played Marvel Rivals, there was no fucking latency problems because they didn't overload their servers by telling everybody they could play it when it released. So, I don't know.
I think sometimes they don't realize how popular Dragon Ball is. Generally, I
Yes,
feel like it feels like that at times.
they do not understand at all that it's probably the anime that every single person, especially Brazil, know and love. Like, it is crazy popular, so the fact that they're just like, we're releasing at midnight your time or whatever, it's like, oh, so this thing just isn't gonna work now. They had to do an emergency maintenance because of course they did. Like, it was so poorly managed, and it sucks because I think it's kind of fun. Like, it's kind of cool. I'm not huge into Dragon Ball. Like, I watched it as a kid, and I watched less of Z than the original Dragon Ball, which is kind of weird to say these days because it's usually the other way around. And like, there's characters I know in there, even though I'm not like attached to a lot of them, and they're all cool looking. They're fun. Their skin game could get a little bit better. The skins that they have on display are kind of like, all right, but like, the thing is neat, and I think if you like MOBAs, and especially if you liked Pokemon Unite and you are big into Dragon Ball, this is something that should be on your radar. That's pretty much where I'm going with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun.
So it's for mobile only, or is it also on Steam?
It's on Steam and mobile. In fact, I don't know that this beta is out on mobile. It's only out on Steam, I think, currently. And it's only certain locations as well, but it's the locations you would guess. It's Canada, United States, UK, like all the big ones or whatever.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand, because New Zealand's in everything for some reason. Yeah, it's cool. That's Dragon Ball Project Multi, if you wanted to check that out. And then last night, I finally was able to jump into Blacksmith Who Kong for a few hours. And that game is real cool. I love it. Yeah.
So describe this game to me, because I keep seeing footage of it, and I keep seeing people say like it's kind of Ninja Gaiden, like fast actiony like, but it also still is a Souls game.
It's not Souls game. No,
It is not Souls.
No, I wouldn't say so. Like the things it has in common with Souls is that it has stamina and you will respawn at certain checkpoints. And the stamina isn't even really that much of an issue. It's just so you don't go completely balls to the wall. I never felt like I had to manage stamina in any real way. But like when you die, you don't drop all your stuff. You have your leveling up experience stuff is different from currency. They're not the same, so you don't have to make that push-pull. You don't level anything up specifically. You unlock new abilities. Yeah, it's not, I would say it's not a Souls-like game in the way it plays at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Which should get you more excited about
Yeah,
it.
I'm a bit more interested now, I will admit. Yeah.
So the thing I had to learn the hard way is that game really wants you to use its focus system, which is basically doing certain actions, which are all the ones that you would think. Doing dodges, perfect dodges, attacks, and all that sort of thing will increase your focus gauge, and then when you get a full focus gauge, you will get a focus like point, basically. And you spend those to do different things, and like I can't tell you exactly what they are because at the beginning here you can kind of build into whatever you want, and anytime you go to a checkpoint area like a shrine or whatever it is, you can also refund all your points and rebuild accordingly if you want to try some different stuff out. So like I was getting my shit kicked in by this wandering mini boss guy that I was told, people said like you should probably just do this after the boss because of whatever, like he's kind of like off to the side, which of course made me be like, no, we're doing him now.
You have to do it. You
Yeah.
got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was having fun with it. Like I was banging my head against it because he's the type of dude to like two-shot you if he hits you.
Oh.
But like I was having enough fun, and it finally started clicking on me like, oh, okay, I see. I rebuilt my guy instead of just getting everything that was available, like one in everything. I went all into this one stance style so that basically I would gain focus points a little bit quicker by doing heavy attacks. And then if you put heavy attacks into your light attack combo, it would do certain effects depending on how many focus points you have, and how many focus points you spend would also heal you for a little bit. So like there was like a synergy in that stance where you played a certain way and you would just like wail on a dude, smack him, knock him down, and then like heal at the same time from doing it. But like it was one of those things that I actually had to spend a moment and read what the skills did and see how they would work together to be like, okay, this is probably what I should be doing instead of having 2 points here, 1 point in this other stance that is doing nothing for me, 1 point in like this magic ability or whatever. So I think the combat is really cool. Once I started figuring out what was going on, and once I killed or finished off that mini boss guy, I did the actual boss for that area, the first boss, and like whooped him in 2 shots, like 2 tries, because
Nice.
like I had learned how to play the game essentially by getting my ass kicked for a long time. And then I guess the other thing that I really like is that this is based on the
Journey to the West.
Journey to the West story from Chinese folklore and mythology or whatever. And because of that, there is a lot of lore and reading. Like in the first area, basically anytime I beat a type of NPC, I would have like a chapter worth of fucking reading about that NPC, and like a fable included with it and a little poem. Like it's crazy how much like writing and lore is in there, but it makes sense because it's like based on writing, right? Like,
yeah.
So of course it should have a little like gravitas towards everything. And there's so many mini bosses and named like elite enemies or whatever, and I'm guessing for the same reason, where if you're writing a book, you're not writing about NPCs, you're writing about characters. So like those characters should probably feel not like NPCs in this world either. So like in the first 2 hours, I think I fought like 5 or 6 enemies with like their own health bar and name on them, which is insane to me. That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's real cool. I'm playing it on PS5 and it runs at like a damn near perfect 60. There's is hitches in some of the cutscene stuff that happens, or like some of the big attacks, but it's not enough to really make any difference. It's completely fluid during the gameplay on performance mode, I should say, because I don't mess with the other modes really ever. Yeah, I think that thing is real cool, and if it keeps it up, it's definitely Game of the Year contender, top 10. Like,
wow.
it's so cool.
Okay.
It's very cool.
So, is this the first game the studio put out? Like, what is this group?
Their first real game, yes. They put out mobile trash before.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I think you would like it because it does have very Ninja Gaiden-esque type stuff in it. It's not balls hard, I would say, but I do think it is challenging once I like learning how the game flows a little bit or whatever. Because there's no parry, there's no block. You are like a monkey man, so you should be dodging stuff, and then one of the cool things is that when you do a perfect dodge, it like leaves like last like an after image of where you dodged, and the enemy is like obviously like a visual representation of where the enemy thinks you are, so that like it just has this cool like trickster energy to it. Where
it sounds like you're describing Bayonetta now. Now you're just basically describing Bayonetta.
It's great. I really think you would like a lot of it. The stamina thing might get a little bit in your crawl at the beginning, but I haven't found it too much of an issue myself.
Okay.
And I guess like hot tip for anybody listening, it seemed like I started doing better once I started being just super fucking aggressive. Just like, rather than backing off and like learning patterns, it's like, no, if this dude looks like he's doing something, I'll push the button and try to dodge it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep attacking until one of us dies. And it's worked out pretty good. It's great. Cool game. That's it for all I've been playing, so let's get into the news.
Right.
Gamescom happened.
And is still happening.
And is still happening. Our correspondent Sean calling in. Oh wait, never mind.
No, he's in Germany. He's having a great time.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be on the podcast.
Man, that would be great.
It's also like 5 a.m. there.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for the time change or whatever, it would have been kind of great if he just called in with like an update. But yeah, it wouldn't have worked out time-wise. So you didn't watch Opening Night live at all?
I didn't even know what happened, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's fair. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But one of the things we should talk about is that it opened with an announcement of Borderlands 4.
That's where Borderlands 4 got announced from. I saw Randy Pitchford talking about it at PAX panel.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, he's still allowed to go to those? Okay.
Yeah. So my initial surprise was, man, they should probably read the room a little bit. But then I thought a little bit about it. And
no,
like,
I think this is the correct move because of how bad
that's what I thought about after. It's like,
was.
oh, is this the correct? Because they didn't show anything except a teaser trailer. So is this a, oh shit, the movie flopped. You guys got to push something out for this thing. Holy shit. Like,
it's gotta be. It's gotta be. Yeah.
Like, we got to get people still stoked for Borderlands in some way. We can't let it die like this. Yeah. It didn't show anything except the psycho
logo.
mask.
Yeah.
That's all it really did. Are you excited for Borderlands 4?
How is the writing gonna be?
They didn't say there wasn't a single line of dialogue, and this is why I think it is a corrective action last minute. There's not a single line of dialogue in this trailer. Not a single thing.
I know Sean always says, he's like, yeah, I turned off the dialogue and then I had a great time. Like, I have never heard anyone compliment Borderlands 3 writing. Yeah. Everyone has shat on Borderlands 3's writing. So I'm like, how is 4 gonna be?
3 in particular was like some cynical garbage. Like 2 was internet meme crap, but like whatever.
But, I mean, there was some
style.
funny stuff. I liked Handsome Jack. The butt stallion thing was kind of funny.
Yeah, it had a style or whatever. I can understand. It's a little grating. I can understand that. 3 was abysmal in its writing, and I don't know what happened. Like, it was really bad. So who knows?
Up their own supply, maybe. I don't know. I got invited to an event for 3, so I was excited for it, but like they didn't have much dialogue in it. So I was like, oh, it's a Borderlands. Okay, hell yeah.
Sure. Yeah, because at the end of the day, who doesn't love a looter shooter? Right? Like, they're fun. You pick up an item that's blue or purple or green and see if the number goes up or down, and that's fun. That's good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 got a little bit of like a story trailer, and we got Digital Bill Clinton doing a thing.
Oh my god.
For a second. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think the theme of the show for me is, yeah, I don't need to see this. Like, I'm probably gonna I'll see this when I play it. And that's kind of been like the theme of this show for me. And like, I don't want to see what you guys are doing in the campaign, because that's what I play Call of Duty for, is the campaign. I don't want you to ruin that thing for me. And that's kind of what they did here. A little bit of that. That game is looking pretty nice graphically, though, I will say. So there is that. I mean,
at this point, I think COD's got their whole thing down. Which team's working on it this time?
This is Treyarch, I believe.
Okay. So it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
I'm at a point where I don't even care what team is working on them anymore, but I'm always so curious about it.
They're kind of the same. Yeah, they work, and I think they even help each other out on stuff. Goat Simulator is getting remastered. That was the next announcement. Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
The trailer for it was kind of funny. They're just like walking through a jail of like game memes, and that's kind of funny. And then there's a goat, and I was like, oh, I'm not interested anymore.
You played your hand too early.
Yeah. So you're not into the Goat Simulator?
I mean, they're fine.
Yeah.
I played Goat Simulator 1. That was fun, but for
You
what
can play it
was,
again now. Yeah,
great.
that's what I thought too.
I didn't even play Goat Simulator 3, the second game.
Yeah, that's a great sentence. Yeah. Well, maybe they'll remaster that and call it 2.
No, they'll call it 4 instead or
Yeah,
some shit.
totally. Techland revealed a new game in the Dying Light series called Dying Light: The Beast. With
I thought you were gonna say the bees, and I got way more excited.
yeah, not the bees. It looks pretty standard like Dying Light. There was a story thing going on, like a creepy cutscene thing, and then a little bit of a video of a dude hacking up zombies with like a machete or something. Like, it's pretty standard Dying Light from the looks of it.
You like Dying Light though, right? So like, are you at least interested in it, or are you just like, nah, they're all the same?
I do like Dying Light, and they are all the same, but I never played through Dying Light 2, and I've heard that ending is horrible. So part of me wants to play through Dying Light 2 to see for myself if it is. I just really haven't gone around to it. They're fun. They're fine. I don't know. They don't have to. It's kind of like The Evil Within. Like, you don't have to release another one. It's fine. But I guess if you're going to.
No, I'm done. I'm over this.
I guess if you're going to, then whatever, I guess. There was a new trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Sparking!
Yep.
All right, because got the exclamation at the end of Sparking. I forgot.
Yep. Do you care about the Budokai series?
I mean, so is it Tenkaichi? It's Tenkaichi, right?
It
It's
is.
not straight up Budokai. Yeah. So I played more Tenkaichi than I did Budokai. So like, I'm sort of excited.
Well, October 11th. I don't know if we knew that before, but that's a thing.
Yeah, the last time they showed a trailer, I forget when that was. That was when they showed the date.
Gotcha. Okay. A new game is coming out called King of Meat. Is this Amazon Games? I guess it is Amazon Games and Glowmade. I don't know Glowmade. Anyways, this seems like a co-op dungeon crawler sort of things where people can make the dungeons. Just a bunch of traps and things to survive through. It kind of reminded me of, what was that, like, temple game that you would, like... I think you know.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was kind of streamer baitish for like when it came out, but it seemed neat.
I know what you're talking about. I even own the game. I'm gonna look up, see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, for like people at home or whatever, if you don't remember, or if you remember the name and are yelling at your radio like I do when I listen to podcasts I'm not on. It's a game where you're running through a temple against other people or ghosts of other people, and there's like. Oh, maybe there wasn't even ghosts. It was actual people, and there was
Phantom
traps.
Abyss.
Phantom Abyss. It seemed very Phantom Abyss-like, but if it was like each dungeon area was co-op and with a bunch of and like a big area rather than like corridors or whatever. So it seems like it could be neat-ish, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know what this is. Linked banner of Spark releases in early access. What the fuck is that?
Like I said, I've not seen any of this.
Oh, this is a what's the best way to describe this? Marvel Ultimate Alliance type top-down like co-op.
Ooh, okay.
Sort of thing. It looked okay. Like a smaller looking like an indie game or something. Lost Records Bloom and Rage, the new game from Don't Nod, got kind of another trailer or whatever, and some gameplay. There was some gameplay in it. This is the one, if you remember, was about 4 young girls that were friends, and then an incident or something happens, and they're like reliving it later or whatever. They had like find tapes of something, and it's sparking their memory or whatever. And they had a band, and their band name was Bloom and Rage. Very Life is Strangey, but with a group of 4 girls that I'm guessing aliens, but like nothing. They don't really explicitly show anything about what the thing happened when they were kids was, but I think it's probably going to be aliens. No More Room in Hell 2 gets a gameplay trailer. That happened. Do you remember Arc Raiders? That
Name
game.
sounds familiar.
So I don't remember the initial trailer necessarily, but it had the cool like old school 80s logo, and it seemed like it might be a cool shooter or something back years ago. Well, they showed something about it now, and it seems like it's going to be a free-to-play survival sort of thing, and I am immediately less interested in it, and that's really too bad. Apparently it went through some changes over the last couple of years, and I guess those changes are now it looks bad to me anyway. Infinity Nikki had another trailer. This is the one that they kind of showed at, I think, the Nintendo Direct, that looked cutesy, but nobody really knew what the hell was going on. Well, I still don't really know what the hell is going on, but it looks really, really cute. So, yeah. So there's that. There's like cats and chickens and stuff, and this lady dressed in pink, who I'm guessing is named Nikki, is doing some stuff in this world or whatever that's very colorful. Yeah, I don't know. This probably is like a Japanese or Chinese character or something. I just don't know anything about it, but it's very cute looking. Path of Exile 2 is getting early access release in November, and I couldn't be more excited because I need that game so bad. I want it. They showed a little bit more of Space Marine 2. Yeah, they put a new trailer for Space Marine 2, and I guess just reminding people that that's coming out soon. Dune Awakening got its first trailer. This is the MMO type Dune game that was being made or whatever. The third-person action shooter survival multiplayer thing or whatever. Not the 4X game that everybody... That was like Spice Wars or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The creators of Little Nightmares, like the original creators of Little Nightmares, showed their next game because they don't do Little Nightmares anymore. Bandai just kind of gave that to like another farm
Oh, I was
studio.
because I thought Little Nightmares 3 got announced, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be the same people.
No, so this is the original creators or whatever, and they're releasing a game that looks very similar to Little Nightmares, probably like more fucked up and scary looking though. Little less little, more nightmares, maybe. Called Reanimal, and that got me really excited. So excited to see where that goes. Genshin Impact comes to Xbox November 20th. Rejoice, Microsoft stooges. Capcom showed off some new stuff with Monster Hunter Wilds. This is another like, I don't care, release it. Like, you don't have to show me anything. You could have said, Monster Hunter Wilds, $90, please, and I would have paid it. That's all you had to do.
They've got you hooked that badly, huh?
Yeah, because I know what I'm getting with Monster Hunter. It's been the same game, like, forever. So, I'm in. They showed a cool-ass trailer of for Fatal Fury City of Wolves coming out next year.
Yeah. I am excited to see the new, because City of the Wolves takes place like a couple years after everything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see like Mai and maybe some other returning characters, because I know that one of the characters apparently is like one of Joe's like students.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna have for new characters. They've already announced there's like a DLC pass, so they're adding like at least 5 new characters.
Yep.
The roster seems pretty light to start with, but I guess Gyro's was only like 9 or 10 anyways, so.
Yep. Yeah, how many are... So the base game has 7 total, by the looks of it. And
Is it? I thought they had more, because they had... They obviously had Rock and Terry. Is Mai considered base, or is she...
Oh, wait, sorry. They had 8 base game, and 5 will be Season Pass 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, because I remember Hotaru, Tizak, that's 4. Marco, which used to be Butt. The Joe student, and then there's 2 I don't remember right now. one of them I think is also a returning character.
Yeah. I'm excited, but I didn't realize that game is still quite far out. That is April 24th.
Oh yeah, no, that's like what, mid 25? Like it's
April.
not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad. Too bad. Because I got this hitbox and all I'm playing is Mario with it.
Now, whose fault is that?
Mine. Monument Valley 3 is coming out on Netflix Games this December. Cool looking games. I think that's, out of the three of us, that's more of a Sean thing. I'm sure
That's
he
definitely
was.
a Sean thing.
He
I've
was
heard of
shitting
it. I've
bricks.
heard they're good, but yeah.
Yeah. Bricks were shat everywhere when that was announced. I'm sure they're going to have to pick up after him. Mecha Break latest gameplay trailer is all about gameplay, says this thing. And
Hooray.
I couldn't tell what was going on because there's visually a lot going on in that game, and it makes me kind of light sick.
Oh no. Oh no.
I tried to watch somebody play a little bit of it, and I was starting to feel a little woozy. I was like, this is too much. Like, things are synapses are firing that shouldn't be right now. This is bad. Firaxis showed their a first look at Civilization 7, and it is coming out on February 11th, 2025. I've never been a Civ guy, so I could not care less, unfortunately, about this, but I'm sure people will be very excited. Are you a Civ guy? You like Civ?
No, I've played a half hour of Civ total, and it was like during a cookie stream. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can see why people like it, but like,
Sure.
I don't like 4X games either. So
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember playing the demo for Alpha Centauri. I think was the other one they did.
Yep.
It was a Sid Meier game. Yeah, so I remember playing that a bit. I was like, oh, this is neat, but I don't think it's my thing.
I heard if I was going to get into one, that would probably be it, just because the space thing makes it a little more like interesting to me.
Yeah.
Thing. Do you remember the Mako from Mass Effect?
I haven't played Mass Effect.
Shit. Okay. Anyways, the Mako from Mass Effect is a Land Rover that you drive around planets on, and it sucks to drive.
Okay. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. Starfield is getting one of those, basically. They're getting a vehicle. That's the announcement. And,
so they are still doing content for that game. Like, it's not dead?
No, the first big expansion, the Shattered Space one, which is, I guess, like kind of more of a horror lean or something, like an Eldritch thing going on, maybe. That releases at the end of September 30th. So they're going pretty hard in Starfield so far. I think my comment about Starfield in general was, I can't wait till like 3 years from now when I pick this game up again. All of the problems I had with it are fixed and I'm like super into it. That's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how I've been doing a lot of these bigger games.
Sounds like Cyberpunk by that sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, I played Cyberpunk when it came out, but I wish I hadn't because it is now fixed, and I have very little inclination to go back to it. Marvel Rivals is officially going to be out this year, December 6th, so they showed that and announced the two next characters that are coming are Bucky and Cap. Captain America was kind of already rumored because people dug into the beta files and found a unused like asset of him standing there.
Let's also be real. They were gonna add Captain America.
Of course, it was a little weird he wasn't in there because immediately when I say Captain America, you know what his playstyle is gonna be. He's gonna have a shield that protects against things from the front. He's gonna throw that shield, and I guess the other thing that they showed is that like he can reflect like a beam off of it or whatever to kind of do like some cool ultimate damage or something.
Yeah. Which version of Bucky? Is it Winter Soldier? Is it actually Bucky? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So and he looks like he plays straight out of Prototype. So that's kind of interesting. Very very not gooey, but like his arm shoots out and grabs people and pulls him towards them, and like yeah, very cool.
I'm just saying, that sounds more like you're describing Bionic Commando at that point.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit like that. So Prime Video announced Secret Level, which is a series of videos that are going to be based on video games.
Yeah, I did see the trailer for this.
Okay. So that premieres December 10th, and some of the games that they said will be like included are Sifu, Mega Man, Armored Core. I think Ghost of Tsushima was one of them.
Yep. Pac-Man,
Pac
God of
Pac-Man.
War,
Yep.
Conflict, which I think is, or whatever the new game is from that Sony was pushing.
I think Crossfire X or whatever,
No.
wasn't it?
Oh no, because it's
Oh, okay.
Concord.
No,
That's it. Concord.
Concord. Concord. Yes, that's there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems cool. Honestly, that was kind of like the announcement of the show for me because I'm totally down for that. I love that.
Yeah, like, did they make it? Does it seem like it's the same person just going through different worlds? Because I guess like aesthetically, it kind of looked like the same person. So I'm curious to see what they do with this.
Yeah,
what
to
story
be
they
honest
actually
with you,
tell.
I actually have like no idea what the thing is. I know that it's the creators of Love, Death, and Robots, which I enjoyed. So I'm kind of hoping also, and it seems like they're gonna do this, is that each vignette or whatever is going to be a different art style, which I'm sure they're going to do something kind of like that. I have the 15 episodes. Apparently, these are the games: God of War, Sifu, Warhammer 40k, Unreal Tournament, New World Aeternum. Nobody cares about that, but Amazon's flipping the bill, so I get it. Dungeons and Dragons, The Outer Worlds 2. That's weird and specific. Pac-Man, Honor of Kings, Armored Core, Mega Man, Exodus, Spelunky. That's the big one I forgot. Crossfire, and Concord, like you said. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Hopefully, it's good.
Age of Mythology Retold is out next month and is going to be on Game Pass. This is the remake on the same engine that they remade the Age of Empires games on. Same company and everything, so that's cool. They showed some Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 stuff again. As somebody who never played the first one, I know I probably should care a little bit, but I just don't. So who knows? The new Batman Arkham game is VR. Exclusively meta.
Yeah, that was announced back during E3.
Yeah, so they showed some gameplay of that. It does not look like what I want out of an Arkham game. So
Fair.
Yeah, too bad. We talked about them a little bit earlier as an aside, but Little Nightmares 3 got another trailer, so that is still there and being worked on, but they didn't give any release date yet. Now for the biggest surprise. Who walks out but Peter Molyneux to announce his new game?
Why do they still let him have money?
It's crazy. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I wonder how many people listening actually, like, when I say Peter Molyneux, like, what are the feelings that arise? Write in at topdownperspective@gmail.com and let me know what Peter Molyneux means to you. He came out to announce Masters of Albion and show his new game that they are working on with a small studio of, I don't remember if they said, but I think less than 50, probably, like quite a small studio.
I can't imagine that many people want to work with Molyneux at this point.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. Yeah. And this trailer showed what you would probably expect Molyneux to work on, and it is essentially a God game, where with a little bit of that British quirky humor in there, a little bit, just a smidge of it.
That man loves playing that one note.
He loves it. The big thing with this is that you can put pieces of stuff together to make things in the way you want. He showed like stacking a bunch of different blocks together to make a house, and then in the house he was making sandwiches for his people or something by putting bread down and then the meat, and then putting lettuce and a rat and then another piece of bread or something. And he's like, I could feed them rats if I want to. It's like, yeah, all right, I guess. Okay. I guess you could do that. And then for a little bit of fun, he made a sword with a hilt and a piece of bread as the blade. And they were saying how it's not very effective, and then they turned it into an actual sword, which he gave to a dude, because at nighttime, the creatures of Albion attack your settlement, and you got to get them ready, so it becomes kind of like a tower defense thing. And the big draw here now is that you can choose like one of your little stooges that you've created and start controlling them in third person. And
okay, all right.
It's neat, but it looked horrible because I think they got to work on that more.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And it made me a little bit worried because it's like, Peter Molyneux, you need to do one thing very well, and then you can add stuff onto it. Stop trying to do a bunch of things and then not getting anything done. Like, he feature creeps too much, over promises, and then never delivers. And I already am starting to see this in this, like, kind of moderately small looking indie thing that there's no reason why he could not put this out. Like, what he has shown is totally obtainable by actual indie devs in a basement. They could probably do this. So there's no way Peter Molyneux would fuck this up, right? Clip that for when he eventually fucks that up.
5 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Apparently this has nothing to do with Fable either. He just likes the word
Well, of course
Albion.
not. There's no way they're letting him back to Fable. Like,
Yeah.
they kicked him off after Fable 1.
Yeah, for good reason, too, frankly. For good reason. It sucks, too, because Peter Molyneux at one point was a name. And some of the biggest games that came out. Like, I don't understand it. Black and White and Fable, I don't know if people remember, Fable was, like, the biggest shit. That was huge.
I mean, he super overpromised on Fable 1, though. So that he pulled a Molyneux on that.
He really did. Yeah, he
And then
really
Black
did.
and White 2, I remember not being well received.
Yeah. And then remember that Curiosity, what's in the cube?
What's inside the box?
And then the guy found what's inside the box, and spoiler alert, it was, you get all the profit from our next game, Goddess. Too bad Goddess didn't make any profit. That guy got nothing. I will admit, I downloaded Curiosity, and I clicked on that cube a few times. I'll admit it.
I almost wish I had, just for, curiosity's sake.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no.
It's pretty good. Yeah. The lowest hanging fruit sometimes is the most delicious.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was doing it until I already said it.
Yeah. No, I clicked on the cube. I had a cube problem back in the day, but I got better, and the whole world kind of got a little bit better, and that guy got nothing for... Was he...
I mean, fair. Did you even pay to play the game? I thought it was a free game or something.
It was a free thing you downloaded, and I think you could just, like... It was like an idle clicker, basically, but what you were doing was
it was an idle clicker,
cubes.
but, like, wasn't, like, the original, like, number they put on it, like, way too stupidly high, so then they had to, like, reduce a bunch of layers on it or something? Otherwise, it was going to miss whatever release date they were aiming for?
Yep. That was it.
How does Molyneux fuck up a idle clicker? What the fuck?
Because he overpromised and underdelivered. Go figure. It's like a curse.
It really is.
I would love nothing more than to say, holy shit, Peter Molyneux's back. He made a pretty cool thing. I don't think I'll be saying that. Call me cynical, but I've been burned a few too many times.
Call me proved right in the past.
Yeah, exactly. I still hear the cries of Milo in my dreams.
Oh my god. That was Connect, right, for Milo?
It was, yeah. Poor Milo. They made a Squid game. I hate how that came out.
Of course they did.
Squid Game Unleashed. So that was announced, and that's going to be Netflix games again. There's a game called Crab Game that you can play right now for free on Steam, and it is Squid Game with a bunch of other people. Maybe turn off volume because it's nothing but kids screeching and sometimes racial epithets thrown around. So, but at the end of the day, you are playing Squid Game with like 30 other people, and it's kind of cool. You could play that for free, just as a heads up. What else do we have here? Unknown 9 Awakening launches in October. I forgot what this even was. This is the Indian lady who can like go into a ghost form or whatever to do combat things. Reminded me kind of Banisher's Ghosts of Eden. Not because it looks like it played similarly, but because of the whole like ghost form.
The idea.
The idea or whatever. That comes out in October 18th. Blizzard showed some stuff. I'm not even going to bother with them because what they basically did was tell you that World of Warcraft has a expansion out.
Expansion.
As of today, if you bought the expensive version. Otherwise, it will be out Monday for the rest of us who don't give a shit about paying extra for 2 days worth of free time. Vessel of Hatred got a new trailer. The trailer isn't like an actual Blizzard trailer with cool shit happening. It's kind of like a just small animated story thing, but I'm excited for that. Sean's game of the show, the first Berserker, Kazan, showed another trailer there and are going to be holding a closed beta in October 11th. I can't wait for him to actually tell me if that thing is good hands-on, but he said it is his game of the show, so I would assume it is.
So probably a yes. Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle got a release date and confirmed that the PS5 version is in fact coming next spring. It will not be a long-time exclusive for Xbox, but it will be coming to PC and Xbox December, as we already know.
Heck yeah.
Another one where it's just like, you don't have to show me anything. In fact, you're kind of ruining my experience by showing me anything at this point. Kind of ruining it, but yeah, whatever. And then
I stopped watching the trailers. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it. It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. And they ended off a new Mafia game, Mafia: The Old Country, which takes place in the forming of the Mafia in Italy back in the 1900s or whatever. I've never been a huge like Mafia guy, not Mafia as in the game, but as in
I'm not big on
theory.
mobsters in general.
I'm not big on crime, I would say.
Not big on organized crime.
Yeah. I'm not big on that like theme or whatever myself, but those games are cool enough. They're fine. Like Grand Theft Auto, but a little bit different.
I mean, there's got to be some company doing a Grand Theft Auto-esque game at this point, because like it takes Rockstar forever to do one now because they're just making so much money off of 5. So
totally, yep, agreed. That's it for everything at Gamescom. That is literally everything at Gamescom. I'm gonna do some quick hits here because the other news isn't really that big. Accordingly, Ubisoft laid off 45 more people. Specifically,
hooray!
I know. Specifically from their Red Storm offices in San Francisco and North Carolina. If you don't remember who Red Storm are, they are the team that were working on Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland that was canceled earlier this year. So it kind of makes sense that they were laid off because they are no longer doing anything. Too bad, though. Blacksmith Who Kong broke some records by being the second highest concurrent game on Steam ever. Before, the record holders for most concurrent were PUBG, Palworld, and Counter-Strike at 3.2 million, 2.1 million, and 1.8 million, respectively. Wukong took the second place, still behind PUBG, but above Palworld at a bit over 2.1 million after, 11 hours after launch. People were freaking out, wondering why that would be, and then the rest of us are like, because China, one of the biggest nations in the world, and this is kind of their like giant game based on like a story that they all knew and like getting a really nice cool treatment. That's why. Also worldwide release at the same time, so China and the rest of the world altogether. Then there were some stupid follow-ups that people were saying that are like, this is the stupidest thing. So I saw a tweet today, or an X, or whatever they call them now, of Wukong loses the most amount of players of any Steam game immediately after launch. And they show the graph of like the 2.1 million, and then it goes down to like, I don't know, let's say 100,000 or something like normal. Then back up to like 1.8 million, and then back down. And then
do you mean people are going to bed in
China? The
China?
follow-up was people in China sleep. Like, they have to sleep at some time. It's the stupidest shit I've ever seen, but holy shit did I laugh.
Oh my god.
It's really, really good. This is just some like nice, cool news. Xbox is doing some great things in accessibility, as we've known. In fact, did he talk about it on here? So one Mr. Sean Booker has been playing around with one of the new accessibility controllers called the Proteus. And I believe he was telling us he was like one of the first in the world to get like an early version of it to play around with for his coverage of it, which is up now, by the way, I believe. I think
the coverage is up. I was like, are we
he
allowed to
tweeted
say
about
that?
it, I think earlier today or yesterday, maybe.
Just making sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I was kind of like, he talked about it on here, right? He talked about the Sony one. Okay, he's also been playing the Proteus. I couldn't remember
if it was on the show or if it was just in the behind the scenes. So.
It's definitely behind the scenes. He's been talking a bunch about it because he's been playing with it for a while now. But anyways, he's been playing with that. I'm sure he'll talk more at length if y'all want to hear it when he comes back. But there is a video on CNET or something. I think he's actually the dude presenting it on that too. So if you're missing your Sean, you can see him there. So that thing's cool. It's kind of like a modular controller design where you put a bunch of cubes together, whichever way that feels like good in your hands, and you can put different faceplates on them to be the different button layouts or whatever. It's neat. Other things that they've been putting out is a wireless controller 8-bit thing that has like extra sensitive sticks and buttons or whatever, and just looks like really easy to use without like having to a claw grip or something. Like you could kind of like push the buttons easier with or whatever.
Yeah.
And they put out the Xbox adaptive joystick, which is basically a PlayStation Move controller, essentially like a one-handed joystick thing. But they also put out a file that you can 3D print your own like topper for it, whatever works best for you. Just a lot of really cool things that they're doing, including packaging for this and the Series X and S, which we've talked about here, that are easier to open for people with accessibility options or problems. Very cool. It was just kind of a cool thing to read, and if you want to read that, you can go to the Xbox's official site for August 21 and just read more about all of those, but they're very neat.
I gotta give Xbox credit. Like that's something they've been pushing since like was it even not even the 360, like the Xbox One era is when they started doing like the custom controllers and that. That was so neat that even did that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Sean hasn't talked about it on the show officially. We can definitely talk more about it when he comes back. And if you guys have any questions about it, get them in. I'll pull them aside for when he's back and he can actually answer those for you. I've asked a bunch of stupid questions already about what weird things you could do with it, and the answer seems to be not as much as I would want, but more than you would think. Yeah. Because each one of those cubes apparently needs to connect to like a cube that actually provides power at some point. So you can't just do like weird designs that... You can't do like a Joy-Con thing where in each hand you have like a different set of buttons or whatever. They have to somehow connect.
Yeah.
But like if you have questions like that or specifics, write in and I'll pull them for Sean. More smaller stuff. Final Fantasy 16 finally got officially announced that it's coming to Steam in a month in September. It's going to be $50 for the full edition of it, and there is a demo out now. I'm guessing it's the same idea of it'll be the first hour or two that will connect into the main game after. Apparently that demo is very well optimized. It runs very, very nicely, and people are freaking the fuck out saying that it's great. So if you wanted to play Final Fantasy 16 and you did not have a PS5, I recommend it. I like Final Fantasy 16. Try that demo out. You have nothing to lose. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, the online services for that will be ending November 28th at 3 p.m. UTC. Universal.
Which is weird because I thought that was already done. I'm surprised it was still going.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. So if you're still playing that, you have a couple more months, but then consider maybe stopping. I guess
they have said. Though I think you missed the other part here too. They're going to do release a offline version you can play, which has everything unlocked. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. I really like when Mega Man X Dive did something like that, and I was a big fan of that.
Dive offline, yeah.
Yep, big fan of that. I pulled this. I think this is also a me and Sean thing specifically. Wilmot's Warehouse, I think, was the first game. It was a game where like you got a bunch of things in from trucks or whatever. They're like different items, and you had to fit them in a warehouse. So you would like stack them together because you would have to pull orders, and you would have to organize it so that you could pull orders quickly because they would become more and more or whatever. This is similar but different. The sequel is coming out October 23rd. There is a demo for it right now, and this is puzzle. This is the same thing but puzzles. You have to organize a jumble of different parts of different puzzles together and put them together. It looks very, very cute, and I can't wait for it. Wilmot's Warehouse is great. Wilmot Works It Out is the sequel that's coming out, and I am very excited. If you have Game Pass, I think Wilmot's Warehouse is on there, and you should try it out. Final news thing I have here, the Game Awards were announced. The date was announced for them, and it will be Thursday, December 12th. Again, I don't know what our official TDP plans will be, but I will definitely be watching it in some capacity.
It's around the same time they usually do it at this point. It's kind of locked in now.
Yep. And that's it for news. That's it. All right, questions. Let's get through these. Oh my god, these questions are huge.
Oh my god, yeah, they sure are. All right, let's do it.
All right, questions. If you want to write in, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter. I was going to say the Facebook group. Holy crap, what is wrong with me? I mean,
You could. You could. You go for it. I don't know who's got the password for it, but one of us does.
Yeah. John's P.O. Box. Oh, and the Discord channel. That took over Facebook. That's it. That's the one. And then you could be like Suku, who says, AI is everywhere now, whether we like it or not. That metaphorical genie, this isn't a genie question, isn't going back into the bottle. They actually wrote that, by the way.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Yeah.
Looked up.
How long do you think before we have some scammer creates a 100% AI produced video game? My brother in Christ, that exists.
Yeah.
In fact, depending how deep down the dark web you want to go, there are probably multiple of those. But yes, that already exists. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Just stick to the stores you're used to. The Nintendo Switch store, the Steam store. You should be fine.
I mean, there's some on the Steam store that are definitely asset steals. Let's be real here.
Yeah. Okay. So that banana game was literally just like exactly what we're talking about. It was a weird scam to scam the trading card thing on Steam or whatever. Do you know what the banana game is?
No.
So the banana game is you started this game up and it was like an idle clicker, but it didn't matter if you clicked. You just had to open the game. And if you had it up for a while, you would start getting Steam trading cards. And the community decided that some Steam trading cards from that game are worth more because some were harder to get, because some of them would be like ultra rare drops or whatever. They're CS:GO knives essentially, but in this banana thing, and they're just pictures of bananas. But because there is rarity involved in the Steam cards, the community decided that some of them were worth money. So it was kind of an NFT scam using Steam trading cards.
This just sounds insane.
Yeah. Yep. It's weird. It was weird. I kind of wanted to be a part of it, but I know that I wouldn't have gotten any bananas that were worthwhile, so who cares? Why even bother,
All my
right?
bananas gone.
But my bananas. Honestly, your B game sounds like kind of what you would get out of the banana game, but in an actual game.
I guess it's just a clicker. It's just an auto clicker.
That's all it is.
And I'm basically done that game. I have one B left to unlock, and then I've got them all.
But what if some of those Bs took like 300 hours of you leaving the game open, and they were worth $300 because of it?
Okay. See, mine is just worth 2 achievements, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, fair.
Incapacitated writes in and says, Fall Guys is finally on mobile years and years after people said it should have been. That begs the question, what's a video game from the 2010s you were shocked never made the jump to mobile? Considering how often it got ported, I'm surprised Undertale never made the phone jump. Controlling your
point.
heart during an Undertale battle with your fingers seems like it would work well, and the rest is easy, low-intensity gameplay. Yeah, honestly, Undertale mobile would have made a lot of sense. I'm surprised. Well, I guess it's a bit more involved in Deltarune, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. When I read this initially, I was like, "Holy shit, they're right. That should have been on mobile."
I think it's because Undertale does so much like boot the game off nonsense that they probably couldn't, or they weren't trying to make it work on all phone
Oh,
architectures.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised that like Hotline Miami never made the jump directly to mobile. It was on.
Did it not?
I don't think so. Let me look it up real quick.
Okay, because I know it had like a Vita version. I guess I'm just thinking of the Vita version. But that also to me seems like yeah, it probably should have happened.
Hotline Miami mobile game. Anything similar to Hotline Miami on mobile? No, it didn't. Oh wait, Hotline Miami app on Amazon App Store. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did.
Either way, Hotline Miami, good time.
Yep. I don't really have it. It seems like everything I would say did come out. Like Terraria has multiple versions out on the App Store.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a game that I would be like, yeah, that should have come out, and I kind of can't.
Yeah. They're pretty good at milking everything they can on mobile.
Yeah, Meat Boy already came out with a mobile one, or was that Forever? I forget which.
Forever, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Forever at least feels like a mobile game, so.
First thing that came to mind was Dave the Diver because of the Nikkei collab. Dave the Diver on mobile would be kind of fire, but that game was too big for it, I think.
Yeah, that had to be like it had to strictly be a mobile version. Like, here's a truncated version of the game.
The way that game works, though, you totally could do it because it has so many mini games. You could just like redo some of those mini games to work on mobile, and that would be kind of awesome. It's not a bad call. Dark Souls mobile. Okay, we hit the Dark Souls thing, so we can move on now.
We're at that point. We're good.
We can move on. Rasterman7 writes, "You are mysteriously present in the pilot cabin of a plane. Both the pilot and the co-pilot have been incapacitated by mysterious magical forces beyond your understanding, and as you see the flight is thankfully in automatic mode, you decide to contact the tower for support. As it happens, unfortunately..." Oh god, I think I see a genie thing coming up. As it happens, unfortunately, all of the staff in the precincts, except for the cleaning crew, among which there's a fellow named Gabe for some reason, have mysteriously vanished. Moreover, you can tell by the metrics that you have half an hour until your scheduled arrival. Only you know the state of affairs, and the cleaning crew has no experience landing planes. What do you do in this situation?
Load up YouTube, baby. Find some tutorials.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's the only option. Or be like, does anyone on this plane know how to fly it? Do you pull a flight into danger or airplane, or do you just give in?
There are other people on this plane, right? Like there should be
assume
there should be a moral reason why I don't just grab like a parachute and jump.
Yeah, I assume there's other people on the plane.
Yeah. I think I grab a parachute and jump.
What a dick.
I honestly think I might make it worse, not knowing what I'm doing.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair statement. I think at that point you should just be like, "Hey, does anyone know how to fly the plane?"
Yeah. Oh,
but also
sure.
you should already have the parachute on your back in case like a riot starts.
I like this idea of I'm jumping up before even asking. Some guy in the first row is like, "I'm a pilot. I've been a pilot for 50 years."
Don't care. Depressurizing this plane. Fly it away.
Yeah. What's your name? Sully Sullivan.
Oh my god.
No, this is actually a nightmare scenario for me. I don't like heights. I don't like flying in general.
I was gonna say, how do you get my latest dream from Dreamwatch?
Yeah. Also, can I just say, I really appreciate that you went for the Gabe pull of like, oh, Gabriel Eni or whatever, Genie.
Gabriel Eni's back. It's all Gabe's fault.
And then Gabe actually has nothing to do with anything. They don't have any experience landing it. He's just named Gabe. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the only option really is like ask or get out.
Yeah. Although if you have half an hour, I think your call of like loading up a YouTube video, it's sound.
I just like the idea of like you going on YouTube is like, hey folks, like click that bell, subscribe, and here's how I can get you out of crashing that plane.
Sup y'all, it's your boy Flyboy420 here to tell you how to land a 737-700 Boeing, baby. Yeah. Boeing. That dude probably
cursed.
exists.
Oh, that's so cursed.
His
Go
name
on the
would
War Thunder forums. You'll find the pilot manual there.
His name would totally be Flyboy, by the way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
VGC Kenny says, if you got an offer to simultaneously broadcast over Twitch and on a Calgary radio station, would you do it?
Yeah, of course.
It's still the same. It's still the same once a week format, so you don't need to do anything more. On weeks where you can't make it, they'll play a random episode. Plus, the radio station people often rebroadcast the episode Friday at 3 a.m., 8 a.m., and noon. Or are you so adverse to old media that this doesn't seem appealing at all? Or is there another reason to say no? No.
What? I like radio more than podcasting. I listen to talk radio all the time.
I wanted to be a radio DJ at one point.
Totally.
So, like, yeah.
I still do, man. But it's not feasible now.
It doesn't pay. It doesn't pay.
It probably won't even exist, honestly, in like another few years. Everything's AI now, anyway. No, of course I would do this. If the stipulation is the weeks we can't make it, they play a random episode, I'd be a little bit scared of that because we've said some, like, we would have to format the show so that it would be radio safe as well.
No, we would have to do, like, new episodes that are cleaner because we can't, like, swear or anything like that. We basically would have to, like, censor the show, but, like, that's not saying much.
Right. Yeah, I guess, like, if we got that offer, I would, like, want us to start just basically as, like, okay, this is episode 1 of us doing that and kind of have, like, a format that's better for that. Because right now we do a podcast. If we did a radio show, a few things would have to change, to be sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love it. I would love it. Why would we be adverse to old media? I don't understand. We're old.
It's cursed. It's different and old.
But we're old. That's what I grew up with. The reason I like podcasting is because I listened to like the Shock Jocks and Art Bell and Coast to Coast, and like I listened to all that shit. I loved it. Like weird. Ace Viru writes, I recently used my air fryer to toast a sandwich and realized that, damn, these small toaster thingies could really become a thing one day. Anyway, what's a neat little use you have for a modern day electronic you have around your house/office? Alternatively, what's one piece of equipment that's barely seen any use in your household?
I got this thing called a car key, and if I walk upstairs and put it in my car, I get to actually leave the house.
Why would you leave the house?
Dude, I don't know, man. Sometimes you just gotta.
Man, you know what's awesome about electronics that are like more than $100 is that they usually have heft to them, so they become a hammer if you need it. It's great. Anything cheaper.
I completely agree with this. I completely agree with this.
Like anything that's made with actual metal of some sort, just like, oh cool, that's also a hammer. Kitchen knives make a pretty good flathead screwdriver in a pinch. Those are great.
Yep, that's a classic.
Yep. Duct tape will fix literally everything.
Sort of.
Yeah, somewhat. It'll just leave goop everywhere when you try to peel it off.
That's the downside. Get some goo gone.
What's a piece of equipment that's barely seen any use in your household? My Steam controller, honestly.
My Steam Deck.
Ooh. I've been kind of wanting one more and more, but I don't even know why, because like I said, I don't travel. I guess
you don't travel, and that's kind of half of it gone. And then the only thing is, like, do you just want to play Steam games outside of your office?
That's, like, basically what brought this up is I kind of wish I could play just, like, a little bit of this in bed.
Yeah, no, that's perfect for that. It's absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah.
I just don't do that.
Sure.
And last question for Phantom Aegis. Ahoy, TDP crew. Out of the 4 of you, who would be Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, or Pete?
Sean, Mickey Mouse, John,
I'm Donald Duck.
Donald Duck. Goofy would be Nathan, and I would be Pete.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I know that Sean would maybe want to be Goofy because he loves Goofy, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sean. You're
It's
wrong.
not in the cards, Sean. You're too normal.
It's wrong. Yep. Oh, and that's the last question. Thanks again for writing in. If you want to write in for next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, John's P.O. Box. Write in if you have questions for Sean specifically about the accessibility stuff or the Gamescom stuff. I'm sure he would love to actually have very specific things to answer, because it usually it's easier to talk about something if like you're driven towards specific things rather than just an overview of something usually. So I'm sure he would love it. What is your game of the week?
Ease 3.
Nice. I'm going to forego Blacksmith Who Kong because I haven't played enough of it yet, and that's going to be probably it for a few weeks. So let's just say just random hitbox stuff. That's just been really fun doing that shit. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.